What's up, everybody? I'm back. Welcome out to the Star in Frisco, Cowboys Complex. It's a little bit nicer today. Yesterday it was in the 30s. Today it's closer to 60, so not as frigid out today as it was yesterday when my hands were frozen shut, or frozen. Very cold. At any rate, I'm Ari Temkin, of course, part of the pre- and post-game show for the Dallas Cowboys on 105.3 The Fan. And of course, you can catch me also streaming live every day, right here on FANTOM, where we bring you to the center of the Dallas sports discussion. And obviously, this is ground zero for the Dallas sports discussion. Cowboys practice facility, where they're getting ready for their game Thursday against the Saints. Sean Lee spoke today, and so we've got some update on his return. There's more drama around David Irving. So more nuggets from practice today that I will give to you today. First off, please hit the share button. Is that a fire alarm, I wonder? Do you guys hear that? Am I the only one that hears that? Let's see. I don't know. It seems to be potentially a fire alarm. At any rate, I'm already outside, so I guess I'm fine. But although I'm not really fine because I'm like this wouldn't be good in a fire because I'd have to jump down or run through this ridiculous hallway in front of me that's completely glass. At any rate, it looks like the fire alarm is no longer going, so I don't have to worry about it, at least not for now. Hit the share button, post your comments. What do you want to know about? I obviously did a film session earlier today as part of Showtime, so now I'm here to give you the information that you crave on the Dallas Cowboys in practice. Let's see here. Danny Easley said, Ari, I finally made another show. Well, nice to see you, buddy. Joe Tranchino wants good news. All right, I can do good news. Hold on 1 second, folks. And I'm just going to share this to places and then allow everybody as part of the discussion. And I would encourage you all to do the same thing if you wouldn't mind. Hit the share button, post your comments. Broadcasting live across Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Shout out to all of our partners allowing us to post through their pages as well, including the Dallas Cowboys America's Team page, as well as the CLNS Mediate page on YouTube. And of course, if you don't, check out my podcast along with Patrick Kahn as we host the Cowboys Beat across the CLNS Media platform, which is why I'm talking to you now on the CLNS Media YouTube page, which I'll get to your comments in a moment. Good news. Joe Tranchino wants good news. Well, good news. Sean Lee spoke today. I don't believe he's spoken since suffering the injury. He didn't give a timeline, but certainly seemed to indicate that after this game on Thursday, on Monday, they'd reevaluate with the long week, and there's potential promise that Sean Lee could be available and ready to play next Sunday against the Eagles, which would be very, very huge. It's interesting for Sean Lee because, here's a guy that he's been so tied to the Cowboys' success on defense. When they've had him, they've been successful, but because he's missed so many games, they haven't been as successful when he's not available. And this season's been a major departure from that. And so he had a great quote about that, about this team, not missing him as much as they have in the past, where this team couldn't win football games if he didn't play. And his quote was basically to the effect of, and Anjanette Copeland, I see your comment. I'll give you my thoughts on this game here in a moment. But he's saying that with the way this team is playing right now, that it's motivating him to get back as quickly as he can so that he can be a part of it because of how good this defense has been. I mean, he sees all the fun they're having, and he's certainly helping them in whatever ways he can to be successful. But that he is chomping at the bit to get back so that he can be a part of this team and be a part of the fun that this team is having. Was asked about sort of a rotation when he comes back, if that's going to be, what his expectation is, and he basically said, look, I'm happy to help this football team in any way that I can. I mean, just sort of the same things that you'd expect a guy like Sean Lee to say. Just says all the right things, and not only says it, but believes it. He's just out for the betterment of the team, the franchise, and all of those good things. So, that is, I believe that's a fire alarm. and I guess I'm in trouble if there's a fire here because I've got to jump off this balcony. I'm outside, yes, but not anywhere clear of being able to get down quickly. So, you know, that's just the kind of commitment that I make. I don't really see anybody inside the store right now that's like people are just walking around. Nobody seems to think it's a big deal. So I think I'm okay, everybody. But, you know, pray for me. It might be coming from over yonder. So if you guys see like a big fire behind me, give me a heads up. Jason Wright in the house. Let's see here. All right, so how do I feel about this game? That's from Anjanette Copeland on the Dallas Cowboys America's team page. Shout out to you, Anjanette. Thank you for watching and being a part of this Cowboys community. That's what this is. This is a giant Cowboys community. The Saints, shout out to Bobby Belt, who does unbelievable work in covering this team. The Saints, for giving me this little stat, which, I mean, I could have just looked it up, but I think it's interesting. So the Saints have scored 30 points in 5 straight games. At least 30 in 5 straight games. They've scored at least 30, 9 out of the 11 games they played so far this year. So the only 2 games they didn't score at least 30 points, they put up 21 week 2 against Cleveland. That was a home game. And they put up 24 in a road game against Baltimore. So the only 2 teams that have held them under 30 points this season are AFC North teams. So we'll see if the Cowboys can become the first team in the NFC to do that. I mean, the Ravens are the best defense they played this year, and they were held under 30. That was also a road game, and we know that the Cowboys, or rather the Saints, are a different team at home than they are on the road. Now, obviously, this game's on the road, but it's not outside, so you know, I don't know how much of a road factor it will truly be. Terrence Briscoe says, I think you're scared of the Saints. I don't have to play. I'm not scared of anybody. Unless I have to play, then I'm scared of literally everybody, even the punter. So, I mean, look, who wouldn't be scared of the Saints? You know, this is a ridiculously high-powered offense. So, to me, the number's 30, and that is the Cowboys score 30, they're going to be in good position to win this game. Now, you know, we've seen the Saints team routinely scores 30, but I mean, I think this Cowboys defense can make enough of an impact that if the Cowboys score 30, they should be able to win this football game. So that's the number here, to me. You score anywhere under 30 and you're probably not going to win. You score 30 and you've got a good chance to win this football game. I give them too much props. So Terrence Briscoe says, I'm scared of the Saints because I give them too much props. I just literally just read stats to you. That is, the Saints have scored 30 points in 9 of the 11 games they played so far this year. How many times have the Cowboys scored 30? Not 9 out of 11. Now, granted, again, Cowboys have a pretty legit defense, so we'll see if they can slow them down a little bit. The other thing is, the Cowboys defense has gone 17 straight games where they haven't given up 30 points. So that even goes into last year. So that is sort of an incredible stat. So something's going to give, right? 17 straight games where the Saints defense has not given up 30 points. Rather, the Cowboys defense has given up 30 points. And you have 5 straight games where the Saints have scored 30, and they've scored 30 in 9 out of their 11 games they played this year. Let's see here. What else we got? What else do you guys want to know about practice today? Sean Lee spoke. He said he'd be reevaluated Monday. After this game, I'd say he's got a pretty good chance to come back and shoot for that Monday game, or rather that Sunday game against the Eagles. David Irving, you know, we've been talking all this week about when will David Irving be available to come back. Irving this will be the 3rd week he's missed. After that high ankle sprain, you know, it's a 2 to 4 week thing, but then word comes out today that he's still dealing with personal issues. I mean, literally, with David Irving, he's been dealing with personal issues since May. You know, and that's not to say that the personal issues that he's dealing with are all a product of him and his doing. But, I mean, it's some of these personal issues are over his control. And so you kind of are at a point right now where it's like, how many times do we have to hear from this guy that through his actions that he doesn't really care about playing football? Like that's kind of where it is with David Irving. Joe Lucas in the house on YouTube. He says, hope Lee can play. Irving's a bonehead. I just say we let him go, not worry about the drama. He's a nutcase. Yeah, I mean, look, and again, I think, we're talking about personal issues, and some of them are beyond his control, right? He's got the drama going on with his daughter's mother. So, you certainly can't blame him for that, but you've also got a lot of different circumstances throughout his career in college where it's like, I mean, there's a reason he didn't go he went undrafted, right? I mean, here's a guy with a ton of talent. He's got the physical abilities and traits, but he just can't seem to put together a 16-game season, whether it be drug suspensions, personal issues, injuries, whatever it is. You're certainly at a point now with him where, there are consequences for it, right? Like, you've got a locker room that has an expectation that he's going to play and be a part of this team, and he's constantly, he's in the lineup and he's back and he's in the locker room and now he's gone and he's not there. I mean, that's just a drain on a locker room that sort of has an expectation that he's going to be playing for them this year, and that's, that's to me the worst part about it. Is, it's not as if, this is something that isn't affecting this team and can't affect this team, right? Like, these are things that will and can very much affect teams and locker rooms, and I'm not saying it's going to sabotage their defense. I don't think that's the case, but I just, it's one of those things where it's like, when you count on a guy, and all of those guys in that locker room, all of them, they're counting on each other in order for this team to be successful. Every one of them. That's football. Football is about cohesiveness, and it's about everybody being on the same page. When you're counting on a guy and, he's missing time with injury, that's fine, but now you hear about personal issues, and you've heard about personal issues literally since OTAs, when he missed all of OTAs dealing with the personal issues and he was out of shape. You just can't count on that guy, and they are counting on him in that locker room. And he's letting them down. Jason Turner says, I understand players have real lives outside of football, though. Hope he gets it together. Yeah, but I mean, like, here's the thing. He had an arrest at Iowa State that caused him to fall out of the draft, right? So even that's like, well, I mean, you can kind of explain that away, and then, and then he's got the personal issues at training camp, or, at OTAs, he's failing drug. I mean, it's kind of like Randy Gregory, right? Randy Gregory, through his actions for years, didn't give you any indication that he had any interest whatsoever in playing football. Now he does, right? He's interested in playing football this year. So he did everything that he needed to in order to get himself in shape with the league, game shape, to be able to go play football, and he's doing it. But for years, Randy Gregory told us through his actions he didn't care about playing football. For the love of God, with that damn alarm stop. That's got to be at that apartment complex, whatever it is over there, right? It's unfortunate when you've got a guy, again, that you're counting on in that locker room who continually lets you down. And look, I still say, if the price is right, maybe bring him back this offseason, but I'm starting to waffle on that a little bit. You just can't count on him. When you can't count on him, he's unreliable. That's not good. And when you have a guy that preaches character, football character, that's football character, right? The ability to be in the locker room, not be a nuisance, not be a distraction, not have the teammates worry about when you're going to be back or where you're going to be and what the situation is. I mean, that was what happened with Zeke last year. At the beginning of last year, what I said was, just take your medicine, take your suspension, because otherwise it's going to hang over you. You're going to be in and out of court, and that killed that locker room last year. Where on a Monday you think Zeke's going to be able to play, and then on Tuesday the league says he's ineligible, and then Thursday you're not. I mean, you can't win like that. It's a very difficult circumstance to win in that locker room when you're counting on guys. You don't know if they're going to be available. You're kind of waiting on them. You don't know. To a lesser degree, obviously Zeke's so much more important for their success, and that situation was beyond this. But you just, it just at some point you've got to let this guy decide if he really wants to play football, because it's clear through his actions that he doesn't really care. He's not interested in playing football, because if he was, he'd do the things that he needed to do in order to get him on the field to play. And this isn't new. This has been his entire career. His entire career. Going back to Iowa State. Go back to junior college, when he transferred from junior college to Iowa State, where it's like people are just waiting for him to get it together and figure it out. And you just can't keep waiting for a guy that's going to completely continue to take down your locker room. Any other comments coming through on Phantom? I can't really see any other comments on Phantom's page. So if you're commenting on Phantom, the last comment I saw was Danny Easley saying that they can hear the fire alarm. Other than that, I'm Ari Temkin, live at the Star here in Frisco. After Cowboys practice today, the Cowboys practice today. Today will be their final practice of the week before their game Thursday. Tyron Smith hasn't practiced all this week. As for his availability, I find it hard to believe that a guy that hasn't practiced all week will be available to go, but if anybody can do it, it's Tyron Smith. And I think, to be honest, I'd be lying, and anybody would be lying. Tyron Smith would be lying if he told you he was going to play or not play on Thursday. It kind of comes down to what happened this past Thursday, where he was going to give it a go. He tried to give it a go and just couldn't before the game started, so they shut him down. But I think we'll have the same situation this Thursday. He'll be active, and then he'll sort of decide, I guess, when the game starts, if he's going to play or not, if he feels okay to play. And obviously, you want all hands on deck for this kind of a game, but it's probably more important, I would think, for him to be playing against the Eagles next Sunday. God, that's annoying, isn't it? I mean, I guess it is a fire alarm, I suppose. But, people know. People see it, right? Keep those comments coming. What questions do you have? I sort of did an abbreviated version of Showtime today, so I figured I could stay a little bit longer and answer questions as long as you all have questions for me to answer. So again, to recap, Sean Lee spoke with the media today. I believe this is the first time he's spoken since the injury. I think he spoke immediately after the injury, and this is the first time he's spoken sort of in his rehab back from injury. He said he'd be reevaluated on Monday. My guess is the indication is he's going to try and play a week from Sunday against the Eagles, which is obviously great news. He has had nothing but the right things to say about about this team, what it's going through. Basically said that the success this team is having right now. Hold on one second, guys. All right, sorry. Basically said that the success this team is having right now, especially on defense, is just making him more motivated to come back as quickly as he possibly can. I know the running joke on this show is about, Tony Romo being the offensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. But Sean Lee would be a really, really good linebackers coach. He'd be a really good defensive coordinator. He was talking about watching film on some of these young linebackers in the league, and that he spent a lot of time watching film on them just because he's curious what they're doing. Talking about, I'm an old guy, I'm trying to watch film on these guys to kind of keep up with what they're doing. He's just a junkie as far as football is concerned. TJ Brown on YouTube says Tavon Austin is playing? ? No, I don't know where you heard that he was playing or where you thought that he was playing, but no. I believe if Tavon Austin has any chance to play, it would be next week, but it's been a long time since he's played. This team is completely different. What's interesting is, I tweeted out about that this is a different Cowboys team, and if you've watched my streams, you know that that's something I've been talking about, right? Like, this is not the 3-4 team that started the year. This is this team that's gone 3-1 their last 4 games since the acquisition of Amari Cooper. Like, that's the type of team that we should be evaluating. And, I tweeted out something to that effect. This isn't the same 3-4 team, but everybody's like, oh, they're still going to finish 8-8. And it's like, maybe. Maybe that's wishful thinking on your part because you want the Cowboys to get rid of Jason Garrett. But I just don't see any way how you look at this football team and think this is the same team that started 3-4. That is an inconsistent offense that had no hope without a number 1 wide receiver, that then picks up a legitimate number 1 wideout that has completely changed their offense, changed the way teams have to defend them. He's completely changed the arithmetic for this football team. He's completely changed their offense, the consistency of their offense, and the way teams have to play them. Now, they could still go 8-8 or miss out on the playoffs, and I think, in many ways, and I've said this a lot this year, it's kind of a win-win for Cowboys fans, depending on how you think of Jason Garrett, but, you either make the playoffs, which the Cowboys are in position to do, even if they lose this game on Sunday or Thursday, or you miss the playoffs, and Jason Garrett, I believe, thank God, Jason Garrett will lose his job. So, again, it sort of goes down to, there's the comments. I wasn't getting a lot of the comments, but now I am. Is the stream holding up? I'm not sure. On my phone, it's jumping around. It doesn't look great. So my apologies if the stream's not holding up. But I've had really good internet access while I've been out here, and obviously right now it's not as good. But let me know if the stream is holding up pretty consistently. If not, I'll have to adjust and adjust accordingly. But so let me know on that. Michael Lafferty, are they keeping left guard the same? So, thank you. Jay Navarro and Joe Trenchina says stream is fine. Cool. From Frisco, Texas to Sicily, Italy, Joe Trenchina. Left guard. So I think I said this yesterday, but I'll repeat it. I'm pretty sure that Xavier Su'a-Filo has taken the job of Connor Williams. And I'll go back to an interview I did with him last week where I asked him on Wednesday before that Thursday game, "Hey, you playing tomorrow?" Yeah. Looked at me like I was stupid or crazy for asking the question. It was like, well, with apologies to you, I wasn't trying to make a statement about you or anything, but Connor Williams has been the starting left guard. He's back from injury and active now, and you seem to still be playing over him. And so I think what's happened is he's taken his job. And, some of the things that we've been talking about throughout the year, that Connor Williams needs to bulk up, that is a real reason why they've gone now with Su'a-Filo at left guard and are kind of allowing Connor Williams the ability to sit out, bulk up, and perhaps then, earn his job back, I suppose, this offseason. Now, if Su'a-Filo starts to slip a little bit, then I think they will go back to Connor Williams. But yeah, until further notice, Xavier Su'a-Filo is the starting left guard for this football team because Connor Williams is back. He was active last week. He'll be active again this week, and he's not in the lineup. So, again, at center they've got Joe Looney. At left guard now they've got Xavier Su'a-Filo. There's a chance that Cam Fleming could be their starting left tackle. To think they are where they are with those circumstances, sort of incredible to think about, quite frankly, right? Solar's prediction is 31-24 Cowboys, which that's, to me, 30 is the magic number. Magic number's 30. They score 30, they're going to win this football game. That's what I think. I don't know how much this defense will be able to hold the Saints' offense in check, but I do certainly believe that if the Cowboys score 30, their defense will do enough to hold that Saints offense at bay. I don't know if I'd say 31-24, but 31-27, in that area is where I think Cowboys will be potentially if they win this football game. David Alejandre says 56-53 Cowboys. Seems like a lot. Seems like a lot of points. Perhaps. Trying to think what else. What else do y'all want to know? What else haven't I told you? I don't know. What else do you guys want to know? Take your questions for another few minutes here. That's kind of all the notes I took. No, look, again, I think the magic number for this Cowboys offense is 30. This is a different Cowboys team than the one that started 3-4. And if you can't see that, then either you're just so blinded by your hate for Garrett and your want for him to be out as the head coach, or you're not watching. But it's clear as day that the way teams are having to defend them are different. And if not, like if you're going to stack the box and you're going to basically force Dak Prescott to beat you, well, they've got Amari Cooper on the outside, and I could argue that's how they beat Washington in the second half. It's not like Dak Prescott made a bunch of great throws, but he made enough throws to a playmaker like Amari Cooper, who in single coverage just absolutely devoured the Washington Redskins secondary. Then if you want to bring extra attention to Amari Cooper, then you've got the best running back in football with running lanes, with a pretty good offensive line. So, I don't know if I have enough confidence in this team to beat a 10-1 football team that's won 10 straight, that's rolling on offense. But I also think, like, the idea here that everybody's polled that it's like, well, this will give us a litmus test for where they are. I mean, sure, but no. This team can lose this game and still make the playoffs. In fact, if they lose this game, they're still in the driver's seat to make the playoffs. I'll keep saying this. You beat the Eagles, you beat the Giants, you're making the playoffs. Now, obviously, they're at 6 wins right now, so you probably need more than 8 to get there. But, I mean, you can beat the Buccaneers. I'm just saying, you win at least those 2 games, and it's hard for me to think that if they beat the Eagles and sweep the Eagles and then beat the Giants, they will have just 1 loss in the division, that they wouldn't win the division. Anthony Donaldson says, if we stop their run and we don't turn the ball over, we'll not lose. The Saints have done nothing with top defenses with their offense. Okay, so what defense is it, Solar? What defense are you talking about, top defenses they played? I mean, they beat the Ravens 24-23. That's probably the best defense they played other than the Cowboys. Ravens have the number 1 scoring defense in the NFL. I also think the idea that if you stop their running game, you'll win. I mean, certainly, I'll say this. They do run the football a lot more than people give them credit for, right? Like, people look at this team and think they just throw it a bunch of times, and they do run the football, and that keeps defenses honest. But, I mean, I think they can still beat you pretty well with through the air. And that's why, I mean, to me, it comes down to, if this is a shootout and the first to 30 wins, the Cowboys have to get there. And so how much confidence do you have in the Cowboys offense to get there? That's sort of what I'm thinking about for this game. Ravens and Browns are the 2 I mean, they haven't really played good defenses, right? But to be fair, do the Rams have a good defense? I mean, so I think in 2018, the NFL and in college football, I mean, really good offenses are beating really good defenses. Now, again, I think that means the Cowboys are going to give up 50 to this team. They're not going to give up 40 to this team. I mean, the Saints have scored at least 40, I think, in 3 of the last 5 they played. So they've scored at least 30 in 5 straight, and they've scored at least 40 in 3 of the last 5 they played. So, again, that's why I go back to, can the Cowboys offense put up 30? Because if they do, they'll win. But if not, then I don't know that they can win this game. What else? Well, I guess that's it for me. Thank you to everybody that is a part of this community, the people that stream this show and my streams every day. Appreciate you guys. You make this show what it is. This is an interactive, 2-way street show. So it depends on your participation. So thank you to Solar and Danny Easley and Patrick Prescott and Jay Navarro, David Alejandre, and Joe Tranchino, Michael Lafferty, Brian Walker, Anjanette Copeland, Steve Eason, Brian Hernandez, Roy Winder, Dakota Stiegel. I'll make my prediction on Thursday, by the way. Kerry Teagle. You guys make this show what it is. So Corey Miller. So I appreciate you all. Thank you all for being a part of this community. Hopefully you'll tell your friends, you'll tag friends, you'll tell groups, and the more groups, the more pages we can share this to, the more we'll reach, the bigger our community gets, the greater access we'll get, and on and on and on. So thank you. Also, worth mentioning that, if you like what we're doing here, then help us out and check out our sponsors, Pollo Campero, with locations throughout Texas and California and Florida and everywhere in between. Click the link in the description where you can find a location near you for Pollo Campero. Great chicken. It's South American, Central American flavors. It's a very unique style of food, so check it out. Again, link in the description, and that is where you can find a location by you. Anyways, I'm back tomorrow at noon, same time, same place. Until then, though, I'm out. Peace, everybody.